Hey guys, welcome to the second podcast on this channel. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Well, belated Thanksgiving, but happy Black Friday as well. Maybe you're listening to this on your way to your Black Friday shopping, or you just got back, or you're not going at all. But either way, have a nice day. So what I want to start out with today, the first topic, is the importance of the kicking game, which I think when we hear this news about like this week, Nick Folk, I believe, is out against Houston because of a. Let me check here. Nick Folk is out against the Texans because he is undergoing an appendectomy. So that means we have signed our fourth kicker of the year, Kai Forbath. He's a pretty decent kicker. He has over 80% accuracy in his career. But either way, it's never good to go through four kickers in a season, especially when you're the New England Patriots. You know, if you're a bad team, it doesn't matter that much. But when you're a team like the Patriots, it matters. Two of our six Super Bowl wins have been decided by field goals. Two of them. In the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl, if we hadn't made one of those extra points, it probably would have gone differently. The Seahawks might have settled for a field goal at some point, and it would have been tied there at the end of the game. There's just, if we had missed an extra point, which we did in the Super Bowl against the Falcons, but if we had missed another one or missed that field goal that brought us to 9-28, that would have completely changed the course of the game. And the biggest part is those two Super Bowl winning kicks by Adam Vinatieri. And my point is that the thing about this playoff season is that we're all so used to Brady making these end of the game drives or these last minute drives from his own 25 or his own 30 and just bringing it up the field, 10, 15-yard passes, and then spiking it down with 5 seconds to go. And then he goes ahead and they kick a field goal and win the game. That has happened time and time again. And a big problem this season is that we don't have Stefan Gostkowski. We don't have Adam Vinatieri. We don't have a kicker who makes it in the clutch time. Now, to be fair, Gostkowski missed a kick against the Falcons. He missed a kick against the Eagles, which would have made it a much easier game to win had Gostkowski made. I think it was he missed either a field goal and an extra point or two field goals. But either way, those points would have completely changed that matchup. Would have made it a lot easier last drive rather than throwing that Hail Mary. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm worried a little bit, definitely. I don't know if you guys are, but that kicking game has been very important to us. To be fair, it hasn't been as important last year, especially. But it's just like in these games, like where it's a shootout, if we miss an extra point or we miss a field goal, that could be the game changer there. That could be the 1 point that makes us lose. That could be the 1 point that kills us. I mean, it's freaky. It's freaky for sure. But we'll hope that, because, you know, Belichick's so good at finding guys that do their job. And I think with this signing, I don't think it's to find a guy to do his job. I think it's to find a guy to fill the position, to at least make extra points. I don't think he has trust in Kai Forbath like he has in Stefan Gostkowski or he had in Adam Vinatieri. He doesn't have that trust, I don't think, which is why it was such a quick signing, because look, they're just looking for a kicker at this point. They don't care about your clutch ability. They just want a kicker. They want someone who can kick extra points. So yeah, that's definitely, it's tough. It makes me a little worried. I mean, even the Stefan Gostkowski just at the beginning of the year made me worried, but now all the way on to our fourth kicker. I mean, that definitely makes me worried. Although Kai Forbath here against the Houston Texans, it might be a high-scoring game. I don't know. like I said in my last video with the whole explanation as to why our defense sucked against the Ravens, Belichick might do the same type of thing where he doesn't show them everything we have defensively simply because of the chance that we're going to face them in the playoffs. And he saves our best defense for then. But you know what? We'll see. It'd be cool if we could get a big game against the Texans because we have yet to really get a big win against a good team. I mean, yeah, the Cowboys are good, but they haven't beat a team over 500 all year. So it has about the same legitimacy as beating the Vikings of last year. But yeah, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. It's scary to think about, and I'm definitely worried, but he has got to have trust in Guy Forbath at this point. Better support him than sit here and get all antsy about him. Yeah. Alright, I'm sure you guys have heard a lot of opinions on this, but I got to voice mine. The Antonio Brown situation. Just for some context here, the biggest reason we did not keep him was because he failed to disclose that there was a civil lawsuit against him. I don't think they were too worried about the lawsuit itself, simply because they might have felt like it was a money grab, might have felt like it was just a slash for money. But, you know, I don't know, it's disappointing. It's disappointing to say the least. But in the end, he didn't tell the Patriots, and they aren't going to stand for that. They're not going to give you a free pass just because you're really good. It doesn't happen at the Patriots organization. They don't care how great you are. They aren't going to give you a free pass. You remember Jonas Gray? The 4 touchdowns in a single game, man. Back from way back when. I forget what year it was. But Jonas Gray, one-game wonder. Had 4 touchdowns in a game. 4 or 5. And the next game, I think he had like less than 10 carries. And everyone was like, oh, why? You know, what went wrong? And it turns out he was late to the next practice because his phone, he forgot to plug it in. And Belichick said, look, we're not standing for that. And Belichick kind of just kept him as a second, third running back the rest of the year, and that was it. But yeah, it's just things like that. He doesn't care how great you are. He cares about how great the team is. And if he doesn't feel that you're going to be great for the team, if he doesn't feel that you're going to be great mentally for the team, not just physically. You can have a team of superstars and still be a bad team if not everyone likes each other, not everyone's connected as a family. And I think Belichick just felt like Antonio Brown was not going to help that. So he let him loose. And you know, in the end, it's disappointing, but we're 10-1, guys. We're 10-1. I think we're going to be just fine. You know, even if our offense doesn't become a top 15 offense by the end of the year, or a top 10 offense, I still think we'll be fine. Because we have a great defense, guys. All right, we have a really, really good defense. And we saw how our team was last year. We'll turn it around when it matters most. You know, last year, we all doubted ourselves. We were 11-5, and we won the Super Bowl. I mean, come on. We lost to teams like the Lions and the fucking Jaguars. I mean, we lost to teams like that, and we won the Super Bowl. And this year we lost one game to the Ravens. Everyone's flipping out that we're not getting Antonio Brown. And it's like, we're going to turn our problems around when it matters. That's what the Patriots always do. They figure it out. And you just got to have trust that they're going to do it. And you got to have trust that even if they don't, Belichick's going to have the plan to win the Super Bowl. That's it. That's what you got to trust. I trust it, and I hope you guys start to trust it too. Because as much as Antonio Brown would be a fun guy to have, he's not crucial. He's not the team. He's not the make it or break it player. He's a good player. That's it. You know, he's just a good player. I mean, he's a great player. But we got to trust the Patriots at some point, guys. They've been winning Super Bowls for 20 years. You got to have some trust in them at some point. And I'm not trying to be a jerk to you guys, but we got to trust. We got to trust a little bit. All right. All right, so I'm going to talk about Sony Michel now, and kind of my biggest question with this is he worth the first round pick we spent on him? And, it's a little bit of a difficult question to answer, because at the playoffs last year, hell yeah, he was worth it. A lot of last year, yeah, he was worth it. But this year, it's like, was he worth it, But we have to consider the factors here. We got to consider all the factors. He has been without a big-time fullback, James Devlin. James Devlin's been out all year. Rob Gronkowski is no longer here as a run blocker. He was here last year. We lost our pro center at the beginning of the year. We lost our left tackle at the beginning of the year. So 4 big components to that running game were lost, and we're kind of putting all the blame on Sony Michel, and I don't think we should. I think we should kind of just put the blame on the circumstances. He got his left tackle back, and he had a decent game against Dallas. 20 carries, 85 yards. Nothing to write home about, but it was good, It was obvious that we wanted to run the game through him a little bit more. He's had some good games this year. He has yet to break 100 yards in the game. He had 74 yards against Cleveland, 86 against the Giants, 91 and a touchdown against Washington, 63 against Buffalo, and 83 and a touchdown against Miami. So he's had decent games, but he's kind of been unable to get past the line of scrimmage on a lot of runs. And I think the big reason for that is our offensive line troubles. I think that in the stretch of these last 5 games, he's going to kind of pick it up a little bit. I think he's going to break 100 yards in at least 2 or 3 of them. That's my take. I think we're good at running back. I think Sony Michel is a long-term option. Do I think he's an Ezekiel Elliott or Saquon Barkley or Melvin Gordon? No, I don't think so. I think he's as good as the team around him. I think he'll do his job if everybody else does their job on the team. I think that's the type of players Belichick drafts. And that's why he drafted Sony Michel. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it. It's the formula to win Super Bowls. We've seen it. He might not be a flashy first-round pick. But you know what? He's good. He'll get the job done if you let him. And as long as we have that, that's all we need. I don't think we need a star running back. I think maybe someday, if our quarterback isn't as good, like if we have a Dak Prescott or Kirk Cousins, we might need a star running back. But right now, we don't need it. And I think that Belichick chose the player that he thought was best to fill the job. And I think he was pretty good to fill the job. And that's my take. I think Sony Michel is going to pick it up here late in the season. I think he's going to be fine. I don't think we should freak out about it. But yeah, I do not think we should freak out about it. It's tough not to. I understand, After we saw that in the playoffs from Michel, it was like, I don't know. It was just, we got these big expectations all of a sudden. And I really think that was unfair. Sony Michel, he's just a second-year running back. And like I said, he's no Saquon Barkley. I think that go a little easy on him. He's a good running back. There's a reason he was a first-round draft pick. It wasn't just for nothing. So I think we should keep having faith in him. I think we should wait it out a little bit. I think he'll pick it up in the playoffs again. I think that the Patriots are like that. They are going to smash mouth the football in the playoffs this year again. That's what I believe. Either smash mouth or all out pass. One of the two, but we're going to be a hell of an offense come playoff time. I guarantee it. But yeah, kind of a short take on Sony Michel there, but I've just been hearing all these worries, and I just wanted to kind of voice my opinion on him. So, yeah. Okay, now I'm going to talk about N'Keal Harry. He has played 2 games for us. One against the Eagles, in which he racked up 3 catches for 18 yards, and one against the Dallas Cowboys, in which he racked up 1 catch and 1 drop. Well, that catch was for a touchdown, but a lot of people are worried there too. They're saying, he said he's been ready for 8 weeks, and he's kind of come out and not done much. I agree a little bit, but at the same time, I'm going to downgrade this a little bit. Same as the Sony Michel situation. I think that it's tough because against the Cowboys, we only had 3 active receivers. That's not a lot of guys to cover. That's not a lot of guys you got to cover there. They were fine playing a lot of coverage. They were fine sending 5 rushers at the same time because we didn't have anybody to throw to. So, I think it's a little hard to bomb N'Keal Harry there. But I like the kid. A big part of his game against the Cowboys is that he showed his ability to be a weapon in the red zone, which is something we don't really have right now. We have Edelman, but that's really it. Once you get to the red zone, you kind of want to have a big body guy like Gronk. If you don't have a great running game, you want to have a big body guy like Gronk, like N'Keal Harry, that can kind of muscle around a little bit, and even if he doesn't have complete separation because there's 8 guys in coverage in a 10-yard space, he can kind of muscle his way to the catch, and we saw that. We saw that against the Cowboys. It was only once, to be fair, but the one time we got in that area, that close, I think it was, maybe we had another shot, but I'm pretty sure that was one of the only times N'Keal Harry came up big. So expect a lot more of that in the red zone in these last 6 games. But yeah, just don't worry so much, guys, about N'Keal Harry. He's good. He's a great receiver. Again, he's a great receiver. He's gonna pan out just fine. It's his first 2 NFL games. I think Brady is going to start throwing it to him a bit more as he gains that trust. Brady likes him, but I think N'Keal Harry is just getting used to the feel of being in an NFL game. It's hard. It takes more than just 60 minutes, 120 minutes to get used to an NFL game. And I think once he does, within these next 6 games, he's going to start to pan out a little bit. He's going to start making some big catches like he did in the preseason. And I think he's really going to show us why he's a first-round pick and why he was rated the number 1 receiver in the draft by a lot of people. But yeah. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was the Belichick versus Brady argument. And what this argument is basically about is who deserves more credit for the Patriots dynasty, Bill Belichick or Tom Brady? Let's see. So let's look back. In the 2000 Super Bowl, Brady's first Super Bowl win, the game came down to 17-17 with very little time left. John Madden's telling them they should really play for overtime here, but they say no. Brady goes up the field, puts together a perfect drive to put the Patriots in field goal position. Adam Vinatieri kicks the field goal. The next Super Bowl win against the Panthers, it comes down to a final drive. Tom Brady drives the team down the field. They kick a game-winning field goal. There's 2. Okay. The third Super Bowl against the Eagles, we win a relatively unclose game. It was our biggest win margin in a Super Bowl up to that point. The next Super Bowl we lose. It's against the Giants. We were 16-0. We had it in the bag and we lost against the 9-7 Giants. The next Super Bowl, we lost the Giants again. Okay. Then up against the Eagles, or my bad, the Seahawks, Tom Brady comes back from two 10-point deficits, down, I think it was 10, either, not sure what the exact deficits were, but I know one of them was 24-14. So yeah, and then it comes down to the Malcolm Butler interception. And then we played against the Falcons 2 years later. We won 34-28 after a 25-point comeback in the third and fourth quarter, led by Tom Brady. And yeah. And then we played the Eagles. Tom Brady threw for over 500 yards, and triplet of touchdowns, and we lost. Even though we put up more than 30 points, the most points we'd ever put up in a Super Bowl, and we lost. Either the most points or the second most. But that's because we had no defense. Let's think about that game. Do you remember right before the game started, we benched Malcolm Butler? Nobody knew why. It was like, oh, okay. And then there were videos of Malcolm Butler, crying on the sideline. Bill Belichick told Malcolm Butler, you're not playing in the Super Bowl. That's it. You're not playing. And nobody knew why. There's something that came out later about how there might have been like a drug problem or something, or some kind of violation of Patriots rules. But at the same time, it didn't make sense that Belichick would throw away a Super Bowl win. I mean, at least punish him afterwards by maybe not re-signing him. Because that could be the reason our defense was so utterly bad that game. Eric Rowe instead of Malcolm Butler. And Eric Rowe, as we all remember, played absolutely terribly that game. So, was that loss Bill Belichick's fault? I think so. I don't think it was accidental either. I think he knew that he was trying to lose that game. I think here's why. It was either that year or the year before. I think it was that year when the whole Jimmy Garoppolo thing was going down. The whole trade to the 49ers for next to nothing, and Kraft was fine with it, but everyone was like, whoa, why'd they just give away Jimmy Garoppolo for so little? And then it comes out that I think an ESPN article came out saying that there's turmoil in the Patriots organization, that Belichick, Brady, and Kraft are all having problems with each other, not loving each other at the moment. So then several people come up with this theory that Belichick kind of threw away his coaching. If you notice, on any of the close calls, he did not challenge at all. In the biggest game of the year, he did not challenge a single one of those calls. In the biggest game of the year, we never saw him talking to the refs or really talking to anybody. You never saw him talking to Brady, never saw him talking to his other coaches. He was just sitting there quiet. Just sitting there quiet the whole game. Because what he said was, look, try to win this Super Bowl without me. Try to win this Super Bowl without me. See what happens. And they lost. They lost that Super Bowl because of Bill Belichick, because he wasn't there in the way that they needed him to be. Now, the Patriots are built on a do-your-job idea, do-your-job kind of mentality. And Bill Belichick decided not to do his job that day to show that they needed him to do his job to win Super Bowls. Now, Brady did his job great, probably because he knew what was happening. He did his best job in a Super Bowl he had ever done, and it wasn't enough because there wasn't a defense. And I think that Bill Belichick's point with that was Tom Brady isn't the entire team. He can't win games by himself. And there are a lot of games I wouldn't win without him, but he can't win games by himself. And Bill Belichick was basically saying, look, you need to give me some credit here and you got to listen to some things I say. He basically said that to Kraft with the whole Super Bowl thing. And yeah, that was that. It's kind of just a big FU to Kraft saying, look, you need a defense, and you need a coach. You didn't have one, you lost the Super Bowl. So yeah, it was disappointing, but I think that's what happened. And I think that in the end, from a thing like that, you just notice that it's more equal than anything. It's kind of hard to pinpoint the percentage because we got so lucky to have Brady and Belichick on the same team. Brady, the most clutch quarterback in NFL history, the most pliable quarterback in NFL history, the best quarterback at just doing his job, doesn't have to do anything extra because he does his job so well. That's the difference between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady and Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have to extend the play. He doesn't need to use his legs to run around and extend it because he does part one so well. He fixes the play before it's broken. That's the thing. And if it's not there, he doesn't go around trying to make a thing. He says, all right, this play's not going to work. I'm going to do my job, and I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to risk running around, fumbling, throwing a pick. I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to throw the ball out of bounds. I'm going to wait here a second, see if anything changes. But if nothing does, I'm throwing it away. I'm going to do my job, and that's it. That's the difference between him and Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson. It's why the Patriots win so much. It's because they just do their job. They don't need a quarterback who does all that extra stuff because they do part one so well. That's it. That's all there is to it. Brady doesn't need to run around on his feet. He doesn't need to sprint around in the backfield, make a play, run for 20 yards on the ground. It's just because part one. He does everything he can before the snap to make sure the play goes well. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. And that's it. The other team gets the ball, and hopefully the defense holds. And then the defense does their best to do their job. And the kicking game does their best to do their job and pin them deep. And I think Brady, I think that they both deserve equal credit. I think every Patriot on those Super Bowl teams that played a decent amount deserves credit. Every player that did their job, because they're a do-your-job mentality team. And sure, Brady has come up with more big moments than any other player ever in those situations, but his receivers did his job on those plays. His offensive line did a good enough job on those plays. His defense did a good enough job of keeping them in that position. His special teams gave him a good enough job to give him that good enough field position to make it happen. Everybody did their job, and that's what the Patriots are about. And just to close off the day here, I'm going to hit one more topic, which is the Tom Brady frustrations. They weren't as much so this week or last week, but especially after the Eagles game. We won, and Brady seemed very, very mad. He cut off his post-game interview to, I think, 2 or 2.5 minutes. And everyone was like, why is Brady mad? Oh my gosh, what's wrong in New Englandville? What's wrong in Foxborough? I understand why he's mad. Why he was mad. I think he's kind of coming to accept that it's a defensive team. But I understand, you're the best quarterback in NFL history. You've been the reason at the end of those Super Bowls why this team has won a lot of them. You have broken many, many records, countless records in the NFL. You have been with this team and taken pay cuts for 20 years despite having 6 rings. You make $15 million a year. They're thinking about paying Dak Prescott over $30 million. More than double what Brady makes. And he isn't that great. Dak Prescott is not super physically talented. For people who say he wins a lot of games, he isn't winning a lot this year. Not against teams over 500. I think Dak Prescott's a good enough franchise quarterback, but I do not think he's worth $30 million. I think if anyone, Brady should be making $30 million, and Dak Prescott should be making $15 million, taking pay cuts, because I think Dak Prescott's going to do just as great as the team around him is. I think he's going to do his job well, but I think you got to have a pretty good team around Dak Prescott to have a good run. But anyways, this is a Patriots podcast. Let's keep on the Patriots. I mean, of course, if you guys have questions about other teams, I'll always voice my opinion on them, and I'll have topics about other teams at some points just to mix it up. But anyways, Brady's got all these accolades, and he's this big time quarterback, and he's taking all these pay cuts, and I think his biggest frustration was when you take pay cuts like that, you kind of expect that they use them on the offense a little bit. And I think the fact that the offense has been such a revolving door this year kind of frustrated Brady. It made him feel like the Patriots weren't really looking out for him, weren't given the keys to success, despite all the pay cuts, despite all the accolades. I think it's taken Brady a little while to kind of accept that the Patriots are a defensive team and that it's not all about the offense all the time. It's been about the offense for a while, but this year not so much. And I think that Brady's, he's a little frustrated with that, but he's kind of coming to terms with 10-1. And it's a good record to have. It's a good record to have. And I don't ever think Brady's gonna. I don't know. I would be frustrated too. But Brady's a humble guy. I think he'll be just fine. I think it sucks, when you don't have the keys to success. I mean, I'm sure he hates it when people say he's getting old and he's not good anymore. And he's kind of like, well, I don't have a good team around me. How am I supposed to do good? Could anyone else do great with this team, this offense? With Jacoby Myers and catching the second most passes, with Rex Burkhead lined out wide, third string running back. I mean, come on. But yeah, I mean, I get why he'd be frustrated, but I think he'll be just fine. Again, I think our offense will figure itself out. We got the keys now. Sadly, Mohamed Sanu is looking to be out a few weeks, but I think our offense will figure itself out. But yeah, so that kind of concludes this podcast. I'm sitting here at 33 minutes. I don't want to really run too long. I think if I get a bigger watching and you guys start requesting, 45-hour-long episodes, I mean, I'll do it. Definitely, hour and a half even. But I just got to get the go-ahead from you guys because, I don't want to be dropping hour-and-a-half episodes if no one wants to listen to hour-and-a-half episodes. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, have a happy Thanksgiving weekend. Christmas is coming up soon. I'll be dropping another podcast. What is it? Friday today, so I'll be dropping one Sunday morning, which means I'll record it tomorrow night. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Please like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram at Your Patriots. No spaces, no caps, no underscores, no periods. Just Your Patriots. YOURPATRIOTS. Your Patriots. This has been a Your Patriots podcast, and I've had a great time. I love talking about football, and I hope you guys love hearing me talk about football. See you Sunday.